Hey, what's up everybody? Average Sniper here. Welcome to the video. Sit back, relax, smack that like button, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy. So today I just want to talk about some of the recent issues and things I've noticed in PUBG that could certainly use some improvements. And I probably do a video like this once every month or two just to keep people up to date on what's going on. So I will just talk about some of those issues while we have the game playing in the background, and I would love to read your feedback in the comments section because there's probably going to be a lot of things that can be added on to what I talk about, and also there's probably a lot of ideas and information out there that I'm not going to be able to mention in the short time we have together. So please use the comment section and add your 2 cents and try not to be toxic. So the first thing I want to talk about is the map selection process. So as most of you know, at the start of every week, we get, I believe, 5 maps to choose from, or 5 maps in the rotation. We do not get to choose which maps we play. And that's actually a good thing in certain regions, because if people could choose which map they wanted to play, the majority of maps would get pushed out. I, for example, would probably never vote for Miramar, and I would almost always vote for Erangel or another type of map that I like. And there's nothing wrong with this, but in order to support a system where every map is available to be voted on at the beginning of the match, you have to have a large and diverse player base, which PUBG does not have that anymore. It is split between mobile, console, and PC. And depending on what region you play, PUBG might not be that popular. So, for example, if you live in Australia, you might have trouble finding matches when you play solo at certain times of the day. I live in North America, and I know that solo matches seem to be very, very slow for me sometimes finding players, and I end up finding a lot of bots. So I said all that to say that even though map voting probably isn't really a possibility when all maps are involved, there is a way we can have all the maps and still be able to vote on them. And I know it sounds like I just contradicted myself, but I feel like this plan would work very well if it was implemented a certain way. And I would really like you guys' feedback on this, because I'm sure my idea can be improved on. So right now, the way it stands at the beginning, or once a week, we get 5 different maps that are randomly selected for us to play when we start the match. What if all the maps were available, but at the start of every match, only 3 of those maps were allowed to be voted on? So for example, one match might let you vote between Erangel, Miramar, and Sandhawk. And maybe the next match lets you vote between Tago, Haven, and Karakin. So what I'm saying is people would get a chance to vote, but not all the maps would be available to vote on. That way, the same map doesn't get picked over and over again. I think this would also give the PUBG developers and game makers many more metrics about which maps people prefer to play. And I wish they would bring Haven back. Haven wasn't my favorite map. It was the smallest PUBG map. I believed it only allowed 32 players, and it was urban-based. But it was awesome. So comment in the comment section, hashtag bring Haven back or something. We need to get this map back in rotation. I think right now it's only available for custom matches. So it'd be awesome to have that map back. It seems like it just disappeared overnight and never came back. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm very curious to read the comments and people's ideas. And if you think you have a better idea for a map selection process, please let me know. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, and this one is probably something you thought I would talk about, because I always do, are cheaters. I played last night, and it was incredibly hard to find a match that didn't have at least a very suspicious player or a cheater. And I went back on PUBG Report and watched a streamer report me for cheating, and it made me think, just because When we press the report button on people, it's either because we're suspicious of them, we know they're cheating, or we're very salty. And I think the saltiness factor has actually taken a back seat, believe it or not. I believe that people press the report button a lot more than necessary, including myself, because there are so many cheaters and we are super paranoid when someone gets a good kill on us. We think, oh my God, they must be cheating, because we know we've been killed by cheaters so many times, we just expect it to happen. And that sucks. Who wants to play a video game where you expect people to be cheating? It just makes the whole experience kind of shitty. Now, I still enjoy playing the game and I still love it, but I do feel there are certain times when the game is unplayable. Some people have made statements that there could be 50% or more players cheating. I do not believe that to be true. I believe there are a lot less than 50% of players cheating. If that were true, it would basically be impossible to even play the game. Having said that, I do think that it's more than PUBG admits to, which is less than 1% of players are cheating. If it was less than 1% of players, I don't think I would run into 2 or 3 cheaters within 3 or 4 matches. That just doesn't make sense to me. So perhaps we're looking at a cheating issue somewhere between 5 and 20%. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments section. It seems to me that with the rise of artificial intelligence, that we should be able to combat these cheaters in a much more efficient way. There's always going to be groups of people hacking the game to create cheats, because that's a very profitable business. But once a game starts getting taken over by cheaters is when you'll see a mass exodus of the regular player base. And I think that is one of the things that happened to PUBG that decreased the player count. Lots of people got sick of cheaters and they decided they were just going to find a new game to play. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section, and let me know if you have any ideas on what can be done about the cheating issue. And of course, probably the last thing I'd like to address is the player count and how we can get matches to start faster. Now, depending on what region you play in, you might notice that matches take a long time to start, or there are lots of bots. And I do believe that something can be done about this. And I think it's going to come in the form of region merging or cross-platform play. So right now, when you matchmake, there are 2 factors at play. One factor is the region you live in, so that you get a good connection and you're not playing against someone in Australia when you live in the US. That would be a very large ping differential, and that would create desync. And the second factor that's considered is skill-based matchmaking, which is something that PUBG just recently introduced to the game. I believe it used to be a thing. They took it away and then they tried to improve upon it and added it back to the game. So skill-based matchmaking attempts to match you up with players of similar skill. That way noobs aren't always playing against pros, and pros don't get a whole bunch of noobs in their lobby. Now, there's a lot of debate on whether skill-based matchmaking actually does anything, whether it's a good or bad thing, and that this is probably not the place for that, because I'm just using it as an example for matchmaking. So all this basically slows down the matchmaking system and makes it so there's more bots in the lobby if you live in a region where there's not a lot of players. Now, I personally, when I can't find a lot of players in my area, I will use a VPN service to change my computer's geolocation so that I can play in a server that's more populated. I've found that where I live, if I play in European servers, even though I live in the United States, my ping isn't actually that bad. This gameplay you're watching in the background was actually me playing in European servers. And as long as I don't get a lot of packet loss, my ping stays between 120 and 150, which isn't that bad. I believe when the ping gets over 200 or 300 is when people will start noticing an issue. So I believe for the matchmaking system, they can implement something a different type of system that allows players from other regions to match with each other as long as the ping differential isn't higher than a certain amount that would cause a lot of desync. The last thing we want to see is faster matches, but more desync and lag like in the early days of PUBG. And this is, believe it or not, this is what PUBG used to do in the very beginning. They used to be able to pick what server you wanted to play, and they all got kind of merged together, which caused a lot of desync. I believe if they did this in a more strategic fashion, we would be able to get much better matches, and we'd find many more players to play with instead of bots. We might notice a little bit more desync, but I think it would be a good trade-off for playing with real players instead of bots. That's pretty much how it happens when I play in European servers. I get lots of good kills, and I still get lots of chicken dinners playing against all real players. Even if they do have better ping than me, there's a lot more factors than just how good your connection is. Now, on the other hand, if you have a lot of packet loss, that's a problem. Sometimes I will get a lot of packet loss, and I'll have to get out of the game and get back in, update my VPN settings, you know, so it's a hassle to do right now. That's why I wish they would implement it into the game to find faster matches and to be able to play with more people other than just bots. And last but not least, I wish that PUBG would market better to the United States or to the North American and European regions. We get a lot of events. Well, not a lot. I wish PUBG would do more events in general to bring people back to the game. There's so much more they could do. I mean, if you look at games, let's just use Fortnite, for example. They're always doing something like a concert or a live event or something that just makes people download the game and get into it because they want to participate. There's so many different ideas. Comment that below, some of your ideas, but all the events we get are so few and spread out that when we do finally get one, it can kind of be disappointing. This recent update was a collaboration with a popular K-pop group, which is a Korean pop band, and I have nothing against that. I'm not into K-pop, and I feel like the player base in Korea is probably into K-pop, but the player base in North America and Europe probably isn't. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with being into K-pop. That's awesome if you are. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy you're liking this update, but I'm just speaking for the most of the demographic here and the age of the player base. I don't think they're really into this K-pop update. I know I'm not. I mean, I'll probably try to unlock some of the skins and do fun stuff like that, but I would really like to see them pay more attention to the region and do separate events, you know, for Eastern versus Western regions. I think that would help the game a lot. Basically what I'm saying is I don't think a lot of OG PUBG players are going to be like, oh my god, there's a K-pop update. Let me re-download the game and get back into PUBG. That's all I'm saying. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments section everything you have to say. Smack that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video or the next live stream. Have a wonderful day. Bye.